Oh, I have no clue what's going on with the LPL right now or LCK.
Well, yeah, because LCS is killing itself, for lack of a better term. Have you seen the Thorin thing?
Which one?
His most recent one with Rich, H2K Rich?
Oh no, I refuse. Like Rich just annoys the shit out of me because
He, like,
the
well,
when was this? This was it was back during the Danny situation. He like
uh,
the first thing that comes out of his mouth is something along the lines of like, why is why are we surprised that Danny being R word is like relevant in the league scene whenever half the player base here is R word themselves, and it's just like, nope, I'm done, I'm out, no, like
just blocked him.
from that moment on, it was like, no, I'm not listening to
Yeah,
what you have to say. I'm not. Like,
that's insane.
there's a way to handle every situation, and that's not fucking it. And Thorin's not much
No.
better himself. Thorin has gone on like horrible tirades, horrible rants, horrible like everything, and it's like the problem is
I
like the content with Monte Cristo and everything else. Like, I'll still watch it for information because they do put out good info for those of us that are like not on the inside. But god damn, like we really couldn't pick some better people, really.
no. I I watched a little bit of it last night, and he has like, bro, he goes into like a 5-minute dialogue on why he thinks Ashley Kang is like the most no honor, no integrity, using words like that, like saying she's a journalist who deserves nothing. Like, it was
What?
crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
That was Rich or Thorin?
No, Thorn like goes on this really long monologue about it.
Jesus Christ.
It was wild. It was a wild
What? Like, why?
one.
What provoked it? Did he say like?
It was something about her being on Riot's side, in his opinion. Like,
Oh, so
she's,
Thor. Okay, so Thorin's just like anti everything Riot. If you're in the
yes.
goods with Riot, then automatically you are a no in his book.
Oh, he, it's Thorn. He didn't just stop at people who are supporting Riot here, just want to see League of Legends be played, are supporting Riot. He went all the way back to the sexual assault allegations and said that everyone who wants LCS to be played supports what Riot did.
Oh
In
man,
those sexual assault allegations, and isn't holding them accountable. It was something else.
dude, he's some. Jesus Christ. I don't know. This,
It was
this last
different.
2 weeks has been rough. The double stuff. Like, I've been talking about the walkout every day on TikTok and just like posting daily
Yeah,
updates. And the only thing
I've
to
been
really
listening.
talk about the last 2 days has just been the Thor or the dominate double shit. And it's just like ugh, it's so bad. Like, everything right now in the league scene just feels shitty at the moment.
I mean, it's Doublelift kind of killed the whole walkout thing at this point. Like,
It
I
was
haven't
never
been here,
there.
so I haven't been able to say it, but he like just was the final like nail in the coffin for me. Like when he started talking, I was like, okay, like let's be real. Let's just cut this. Like, this is a
So
waste of
you and
time.
I haven't had the chance to talk since the walkout started. Like, we were at the last time we chatted,
True.
we thought that it was gonna fail. It
Yeah.
passed. The Riot obviously
Overwhelming.
threatened. Yeah, Riot obviously threatened everything. Double Lift comes out and says that they didn't agree upon like the terms and shit and everything else, but they still wanted to stand up for academy players. Like, what has your take been on all this so far?
It's just really poorly ran, I'd say. If anything, I think this has shown how bad the behind the scenes has been.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense why things are, the LCS is on the trajectory it's on. It seems like nobody behind the scenes is really good at communicating in a way that you kind of have to as an adult to make an adult business manage. Like hearing all these people say, "Oh, we wanted this and this and this, but we knew blah 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 when it happened, and we also didn't fully want these certain like parameters." It's like, dude, if you guys are all really arguing, like, and all this, you gotta like kind of figure it out, put something together, and you can't be going on your Twitch streams and saying what you really think right now. Maybe say it later if you want to, but I wouldn't drop it right now while you're still on a holdout.
No,
Like,
you. If anything, right now you just support the cause. You'd be like, I stand with the players and stand with and Phil and the Players Association. Like you
yeah,
provide a unified front.
yeah, and they've shot that, so that's not gonna happen really. It now just looks awkward, and I kind of get what Dominate's perspective is. Like, I understand what Dominate's saying, but from what I get, Dominate is pro like making people pay to watch LCS, right?
I don't know. I think he's definitely in with the camp of you can charge, but
Yeah,
I don't. I'm
I don't think it's a
his
bad
perspective
take.
is no. It's not horrible, but it's also like I mean I've made it clear that like I would pay, but I also understand that we're not in an ecosystem that you can. Like that's
Yeah,
just the reality of the world right now.
yeah, and I mean Nick does make good points in chat. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't stand with players because they're overpaid. It's true. Like, there, a lot of that is going to be happening right now. Like, people are realizing these players are overpaid, how bad they're overpaid. Uh, the funniest thing I've seen on Twitter lately is all the people saying, "This is marketing for it. This is the best marketing Riot could ever ask for, and you people are just ungrateful. Asking people to pay is absurd when they're making this much marketing dollars." And to that, I want to know, prove it in some way. Like, show me what numbers they're making. If because people have been really transparent lately about numbers and saying that they're proving things with numbers, but then nobody talks about how much money it's really bringing in.
Well, to be fair, Riot will block that till the end of time because if Riot
Yeah, and
shows
they
how
should.
much, yeah, if Riot shows how much esports is generating for them, then they'd have to fork over a portion of that as revenue for the league. So like Riot knows that and is keeping their cards close to their chest. Same thing with Call of Duty and everybody else there. It's why they're like the the Overwatch League community and the Call of Duty League, they were at least smart and like gave like team skins, and it kind of like gives that half measure of oh, you know, if you're truly marketing the game, here's your way to fund your team, and it's like well, the thing is that that's not fully one to one. Technically, you are also promoting other skins in the game because you're just promoting the game. So technically, a portion of those skins that you can tie to esports should be with it as well. But
Yep.
like we said, that's never going to be revealed. So
Yeah.
sure, like I get your point, like coming at the people saying marketing, but at the same time, it's like it's somewhat true, but also somewhat not. And it goes back to that the conversation we had before of like you need to be profitable as a standalone entity.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Nick did a good clarity that it's like if
Yeah.
you don't stand with players, you're a bad person. Narrative needs to stop, and that's very true. Like,
Yeah.
right now, it seems like everybody wants it to be you're just a bad person if you think that they are making a little much money and that the academy scene getting hammered the way it did really isn't the worst thing, and it's kind of expected in a bad market, but it's not really you being a bad person. It's kind of just understanding the reality.
Yeah.
And I think like Toast has made it pretty clear that nothing is very monetarily sound. So it's kind of leaving everybody in this awkward state of like, I don't know what we do, because now there's, like you said, there's no way they give any info on how much profitability it's actually bringing to Riot and how worth it this is for Riot. And they're refusing to give up the rights to the league, so they're not going to let somebody else run it. We know that'll never happen.
Or if you do give out
So
the rights, somebody like Nade Shot and crew are gonna fight it because they see the overall viewership being the more important angle.
True. And it's just like, so if nobody's making money here, if Riot's losing money, the teams are claiming they're losing money, then what is the point of this league? Like,
What's the point of esports? Then
yeah,
it all.
if they're, yeah,
No good.
it's not a skin. Well, I'm saying if it's just a skin show and that's it to show off skins, one of the best players of all times used base skins almost the entirety of his career until he kind of started to not as a
No.
joke thing. So it's like, what are we doing here?
I mean, what would have to happen then is teams would have to subpoena, or not subpoena, teams would have to sue the developers and basically say, hey, we're going bankrupt because you're not giving us our rightful amount of money that's owed via skins.
Yeah,
But as it's shown so far, uh, they're not willing to do that. So it's
yep,
like, as Nick just said in chat, the purpose is entertainment. It just needs to be profitable. Like that's now that VC money is left, and luckily everything hopefully should be, you know, we say returning back to normal, but like it's more of a, I don't know, coming back down to earth. Hopefully
yep,
we can get to that profitable and sustainable point. Like if teams are getting $2.5 million a year right now, which people have continuously disputed that number apparently, and we know that it's going to drop going into next year as well. I find it hard to believe that you can't fund a league team for an entire year
yep,
on that amount of money, and then on top of that, like okay, not saying that every LCS pro needs to make $75,000, but you could make an LCS team work on that salary.
100%. And you can't. I feel like it's silly to keep looking at esports as something that doesn't need to worry about becoming profitable and saying, "Oh, well, what we give to Riot," because at the end of the day, like that's such a honestly just closed-minded approach. Because could you imagine if the NFL's only approach was just to selling footballs in
Yeah.
different colored footballs, and that was it, and
Yep.
that's their only goal? Like that would be silly. We'd all laugh at that. And their goal is to be profitable as an entertainment industry, and all sports leagues are doing that pretty well. And I don't get why like esports people aren't willing to look inside and go, hey, how can we make it profitable? Like
Yeah.
so far it looks like only, well, I don't even know, is there any league that is
No.
profitable?
No.
Not even LPL?
I doubt it.
If LPL isn't, then nobody is, I guess. That's
I mean, but I think
easy enough.
LPL is on a
Like,
better path of profitability than most.
true, and they're region basing their teams. They're putting them in different cities.
Yeah.
Stuff with centers, so that kind of helps too. Like,
The flip side of this, I mean, we talk about dropping player salaries, but obviously players are gonna not be happy with that. And kind of going back to the original point of like the whole player strike and walkout, it has amazed me how little apparently the players actually understood as to what was going to happen here.
mhm,
And also, this goes for the people on Twitter as well that were like diehard, like the players have leverage, the players have this, like they just need to stand together and boycott. It's like they never did, and it's like from the player perspective, I don't. Double S point of view, I'm assuming, is shared by more people than we think. They were not willing to risk it all.
no,
So why did you go on strike in the first place? Is my question. Like Travis came out and saying he was proud of the players and all this. Like sure, but like now that we've learned information afterwards, it's like they they weren't ready for this. They had no clue what they were actually getting into. Clearly.
mhm,
And apparently Khan said that Travis admitted that he didn't think Riot would go full nuclear. Are people dumb? That extends to like I know Riot is like gonna care about the LCS, but like when it comes to labor negotiations, all's fair in love and war. Been saying
yep,
that shit from the beginning. If people thought that Riot wouldn't go nuclear, they were out of their freaking minds. You have to force their hand in some way, and the only way you can force their hand is by forming a union and realistically bringing yourself back down to earth, which is
100%.
technically giving up your leverage. Like the main thing that players probably want to protect right now is like their salary and make sure they're getting paid. But if you unionize, you're gonna drop your salary tenfold. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be bad. But at the end of the day, you'll create a sustainable reality for everybody else around you. And even though you might not benefit, everybody else after you potentially could as we grow this thing. But
Yep.
nobody in the moment right now is going to be willing to sacrifice their career for the sake of others. None of them.
No. No, and it's just like it's almost like this was kind of, I don't want to say pointless, but
It
it's
was
kind of
pointless.
leading. Yeah, it's leading to pointless territory because of how little leverage they got out of the whole thing. Like at this point, all it looks like is they went in there, they tried to kind of stir the pot, and none of them actually realized what they were trying to do to stir the pot, and it just went terrible. And then they even started turning on each other by the videos and stuff. Like the DL video is kind of like a, hey, I don't even know what we're trying to do here type thing. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, like that's your biggest face at this point with Beard gone. That's easily your biggest face,
Oh,
and it's just like, dude,
and
we've gained no ground.
and if you're a team, you're just sitting here smiling. They did nothing. Teams haven't said a word since all this began. And they're going to walk out more or less scot-free.
Well, they also, well, you're smiling unless you're TSM or Dig. And then
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
can we not kill the value of the spot I'm trying to sell?
Yeah.
Like,
But like Riot doesn't
Now-
give a fuck at that on that. And the teams
No,
that
they
are
don't.
the teams that are staying in the league don't give a fuck about that either. So ultimately it's like
well, I'm sure they care a little bit, because if the value drops even harder next split, it's really doomed.
no, I know, but I'm saying like if you're not intending to sell, like though the teams that are gonna stay
True.
with this, like regardless of what happens in the next 2 years, like they don't care.
It just becomes an underwater holding. You know what I mean?
For now,
Which
yeah.
sucks.
But the truth of the matter is, what is the spot actually worth? Like taking out what people are actually willing to pay for it, because I know market value ultimately determines how much you can get for it. Like if we were to actually put a dollar price tag on it, couple mil, maybe. I think that's
That's
fair.
what I would think.
Yeah.
I don't even know if TSM will end up leaving. I don't think I don't think anybody would buy a spot for like
For 20 mil.
20s.
I
Yeah,
mean, apparently there are buyers for 20.
really?
Yeah, 12 of them.
Wow. Oh, never mind. Well, I guess we're good. I'm good then.
Yeah, that's as long as now that information was put out there before the strike, but I'm assuming even if they lose like 2 million on it, TSM will still get out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching this the whole time and just kind of chuckling because I'm like watching people freak out, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, I don't know about you all, but I'll be fine. I was like, we're not going to Worlds anyways. I don't care if we lose a World spot.
I had to lay into some people that legitimately wanted the split canceled. Like that pissed
Why?
me off. I don't know, because people are fucking dumb and don't know how to like not watch rather than just sit there and blindly hate. But it was like, oh man, you just gotta. I don't even know. It just like you just gotta accept the
Gotta be a
reality
crazy
that
person.
is. Yeah.
If this split got canceled, I don't think those people realize how bad it would be.
Oh no, they don't. They don't realize it at all.
It would be terrible. If you get, I'll put it this way. I've been watching a lot of LPL now, like full games. I usually just watch highlights or I skim through the games. But since I don't have LCS, I just watch full LPL games. If you gave me a whole split of that and then TSM moves to LPL on top of it, like I'm almost just completely like, I've gotten used to life without this. I don't really know how bad I'm gonna come back or pick a new team. I don't really need one. Like at
Yeah.
this point, I have my team in a different league that I've gotten used to watching. Like, I don't think that would be healthy for the league at all. We're already getting to the point where the English LCK stream is getting close to LCS viewers anyways. Like between the big teams, so
Yeah. I don't know. Like it's this whole situation is just fantastically bad. Like I honestly, at this point, I just really want to move on. Like I really just want to get the split started again and get back to normal. And I know a lot of people are like,
yeah.
"Oh, stop saying that because player negotiations and everything else should come first. Like you should prioritize the players." It's like, I'm sorry, they're not on a united front. This shit was over before it started. Let's move on and get to the split, please. Like
And
I'm at that point.
it's very clear that the league isn't, or that the league is just trying to prioritize viewers. Like, I listened to the Nate Shot thing, and it sounds like people just care about if viewer number is big, Pog, and that's about it. So, and most of these guys are kind of, no offense to them, but they sound like worse businessmen than I thought, because Pat McAfee has been like literally making stupid like sponsorship money with way less viewers than what LCS is pulling consistently. But he's not pulling a lot less money. He's pulling a lot of money. And it's
Because
like,
I would really want to know, and we won't ever get this information, but like, what is the rate of people actively activating with the brands that Pat McAfee is promoting, like FanDuel and, well, now that he's cut his deal with them, but whoever else he's
but
uh
ESPN is now going to be big.
yeah, but like how many people are paying for some sort of product because he is sponsored by them? And how many people from the LCS are paying for products from their sponsors?
Yep.
That's what I want to know, because I guarantee the reason why Pat McAfee can have less viewership but get bigger sponsors is because he converts on all of those people that are with him.
Yep.
That's why. And that's where it's like it's the same thing whenever I like look at my own content. It's like, if you can't convert, if you don't have a product that you believe that you can sell to people, then you're not going to do well. It's like the Verizon partnership for me makes sense because I feel like I could sell people on Verizon ultimately.
Yep.
Like I trust the phone service. Everybody needs a phone. I feel like I can eventually, like, that is something that I think makes sense for me.
Yes.
Now,
That
granted,
is,
there's no codes, so like I'm not doing anything to, like, really help out all that much, but still
yeah,
promoting
that
them.
is a wise one. But it's like when LCS owners, when I hear them talking about how bad the views matter and how little they want to sell the rights or blah blah blah, it's like it's tough because it's like you guys do realize we're not pulling crazy viewers. A single streamer pulls these. So why are we leaving it on Twitch then? Like what is the like I most of what Nate Shot was saying, to be honest, was just numbers he made up. It was fake stuff he was hoping would happen if they happened to move it back to Twitch, like the COD League. But it was really old numbers from way back in the day, and I was like, those are cool, but if the COD League isn't pulling that now, moving it to Twitch isn't gonna magically
Yeah,
shoot it
and
crazy. Like that's just
that
not how things work.
that's where my point of, like, can you capitalize on those extra viewers that you're getting? And to his point, which is fair, if Activision is not, like, Activision has a responsibility. If you are going to choose the option that gives you 100,000 extra viewers, you need to have a sales team that can capitalize on that and can
Yep.
monetize those extra 100,000. Because if you're
Yeah.
not doing that, then those viewers are irrelevant, and my point stands. But from what he was saying, and I'll give him benefit of the doubt, they're on the inside looking out. I'm assuming there's a pretty good sales team there. And if he believes that they can ultimately sell or get good sponsorships and get some sort of return on those 100,000, then sure. But YouTube, and Activision clearly have come to terms with the fact that they don't think they can.
Yep. And that's why I'm like confused. Like, if do LCS owners, do they all feel that way? Because if they're struggling now, like, well, selling your rights, I get, puts you just on YouTube, so that limits your audience type deal. Or if you're just on Twitch, it limits your audience. But at the same time, it's like, are you guys like, prove to us you're capitalizing? Because right now it looks like the league's falling apart.
Yeah.
And at this point, if you're like, why would I even buy something if a team did advertise for it? Because like, I don't really know if the team's really that bought in. It looks like most things are just little cash grabs to try to save themselves. Like,
And the thing is, like,
I
I
don't
don't
know
think
what the
anybody's
point
going to
is.
buy the LCS media rights right now. Until viewership
Yeah,
stabilizes, I don't think anybody will buy it. The reason why Call of Duty became such an attractive product again was because, like, as Scump retired, you had these watch parties, and yes, it went on Twitch, but more importantly, like, when it went on Twitch, things started growing again. And I think things can be good on YouTube, and ultimately, I'm a big believer that if you partner with the right person and develop systems around each other to try and help each other grow, then it will ultimately be a good partnership.
yeah,
And I think YouTube has the potential to do that if they can guarantee that there's still watch parties from Scump and other streamers, and they give them more discoverability on like the YouTube Live platform, because the YouTube Live platform is terrible right now.
it's very bad.
Like, if you can do that, then yeah, like, things could actually take off, but you also need to partner and make that work. I don't
Can't.
know.
The I get what a lot of people want and what owners want, but it's also like awkward coming from 100 Thieves because honestly, their streamers are more valuable than their esports teams from an outside perspective. Maybe from an inside perspective, he has a lot more info and knows these things, but a lot of numbers that he was giving, and the reason I was like, these kind of seem just made up and stuff is because like most of them were either older talking about Twitch or they were just watch parties with other people, which is like not value from the esport. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
value from what other people are giving it. Like, the watch parties are not going to consistently hold up in esport forever.
No, like that.
More than likely. You have to figure out how to make it interesting enough for the common person.
The thing is, like, there's a world where it works out. I look like Abai is once again the perfect example of, like, if you have somebody that's streaming for personal gain with Koi to, grow his own brand and grow the team, that can also help Riot as you drive viewers to League of Legends. Sure, if you have a partner that is like really ingrained like that. But the risk you run when you become entirely reliant on those personalities is if those personalities get bored of the game or move on, then you're in trouble. And it's like, uh I mean, I like, from my perspective sitting here, like, I'm gonna start co-streaming, or not co-streaming, but live viewing LCS games this upcoming split whenever I can. Because why not? It helps me grow my brand, and obviously, I'm not leaving the League of Legends scene. So it's like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, if they can make it happen and prove with numbers that it's getting bigger, then at the end of the day they'd be right. And it would benefit everybody. Like, I don't think we're gonna complain if League keeps leaving it open, but they start pulling in bigger numbers and making it profitable because both of us win from that. Get to keep watching the league. But if they continue down the path they're going, which is not having any money to do anything, but also simultaneously like saying everything they want if they had the money, it's like, well, you had the money for quite a bit. And the only thing we really did was
Nothing.
we didn't really go deep at Worlds. We've gone deep twice at MSI, which isn't bad. I mean, we've been deep at Worlds once. My bad.
Yeah,
We've
but that
been
was like at
to
the very beginning.
semis.
I don't think you can
Yeah.
really. the
We
1 year
haven't,
at the very beginning is not indicative of everything else, and it's just progressively gotten worse.
and then after that, we decided not to look intrinsically at all and not to build out a good like structure of development. So we didn't do anything there by buying old Korean pros or anything else. So it kind of just leaves you in this awkward spot. Like
Yeah.
this is
And
kind of at the point where there's nothing to show for it type deal,
I want
other than
to
memories.
I want to bring this up as well. When you said about growing North American talent. Um, I don't know if you saw my tweet originally that Supernova, the NACL team, basically dropped all 5 players and has a brand new roster, like of guys that did not help them qualify. Like it's literally an entirely new team.
Hmm.
And I will say this, and I mentioned this to one of the staff there. The fact that they didn't put out a message right away when that roster was announced of why uh, the roster was not sticking together is really bad, because you need to add that context in, because I'm going to look at that and immediately say, you had 5 players get you up the ladder and you dropped them. Like, yeah, no wonder why North American League is failing. But they messaged me, the org messaged me on Twitter. And I'm not going to read this full statement out of uh, privacy stuff. They said they were going to put out their own shit. I don't know if they have at this point. So I'm like, it is what it is. But basically, one of their players basically like stopped playing and went to his full-time career. Uh, he graduated college and went that route. One player has full-time play requirements for his collegiate team apparently.
Hmm.
One player wanted to play a different game with, or play the split with specific friends. Uh, One player apparently chose an open qualifying team rather than staying in the NACL. They literally
Wow.
chose to give up their spot to go somewhere else. And then the final one, they actually dropped because of performance and skill. So they dropped one player due to like actual skill difference. But it's like the fact that all 5 of these players get up to this level, which is right before pro, and just stop, is like very emblematic to me of where North American players are.
Yeah.
Like, because I guarantee you, had they gotten that like 60K minimum salary, every single one of them would have taken it. Gut feeling says that. So it's like, if the salary is literally everything to you, then you don't care about going pro for the sake of competition. Because the truth of the matter is, for NACL, you shouldn't be making $60,000 a year. You shouldn't be required to live in LA, where obviously the cost of living is
Yeah.
well above anything else. But I'm sorry, I don't think that's acceptable. I think best case scenario salary should be like 30K a year, and then you could live elsewhere and have like or be able to do other things in the meantime. And I mentioned this to Nick last week. It was like, you had people come out and say, "Oh, NACL players, they need this money because that's the amount of time required to put in that amount of work." I'm sorry, if you're putting in that amount of time and getting nothing for it, then that's on you. Either put in less hours to get to the same point, or
Yep.
if all that matters is truly going pro, you're going to stick through that salary.
Yep. And there's no. The thing is, too, is that we're probably gonna see a lot of that though, because the salaries are only going down. So if people who are pro players at least usually could get a job that's a little better than what pro play's about to be paying here soon. So
Some of
like I
them.
hate to say it, but we're getting to that point of like it's almost the memes from back in the day between Vulcan and Reggie.
The McDonald's.
Yeah, the McDonald's memes. Like the league is getting to a point where it's like teams are kind of running out of cash flow other than TL, and they don't really have a lot to show for it. They don't. have any plans of fixing it. The only hope is still picking up players from other leagues, maybe, but then you have to pay them more. So honestly, they
Not
cost
really.
more than just. Oh,
Apparently,
really?
apparently it's pretty cheap.
Oh, it's cheap now?
It's been.
Oh, it has?
We overpay for the sake of overpaying. We obviously had to like give
Oh,
them more money to like convince them to uproot their life and move over to NA. But like,
wow. That's interesting. That's kind of tough, but but I mean, hey, that's not a bad thing, and it probably shows how fiscally irresponsible we were and how silly we were being. Like if we were really overpaying that bad and other leagues weren't overpaying, like we're kind of stupid. Like we got to figure that out. I mean, we're not the only ones doing it. There's other leagues
no.
doing it too. But it's just like you can continue trying to run with the money, but this is bad timing to try that because now we're running into another recession, possibly, and now it's going to be real tough to like just keep surviving.
Yeah. Although to Khan's point, other leagues were too. The LCK was in a really bad spot. Yeah, but the LCK is now irrelevant. The LCK and LPL are now completely and utterly irrelevant because they both are going to have salary caps. So
Yeah,
guess what? They can now limit that. They can now prevent it. If teams want to like fuck themselves with the uh with the exemption rule, because you get like one, I think it's you get one player that like is exempt from the salary cap. So like Faker can still get his like 7 million, but everybody else on T1 is gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is my star player. He's getting a lot, but everybody else is limited to, peanuts to a certain extent because that's where the industry's at. Which is actually a good thing in my mind because then I think that puts the pressure on Faker. Be like, I'm paying you $7 million and everybody else is at minimum salary. Like the pressure from your teammates is going to be pretty high. Like
yeah,
if you're that star player that they're paying you for, that you're the reason around that rule, you better perform or you will
yeah.
be cut quicker because you're not driving that value.
And it's kind of tough because I think a lot of this culture change is going to be like people realizing there's a reason that team owners are not friends with
Yeah.
players. Like the LCS was trying to make it out to be from the jump. Uh, there's a lot of NFL, NBA, and MLB owners who are hated. Like even on good teams hated. And it's because they're not friends. They're supposed to be business decision makers. They're supposed to be guys who they worry about the money, you worry about the playing. And a lot of owners don't really do that in the in esports. Like a salary cap would be great for NA, but
Oh, it'd be so nice. It would solve so many problems.
yeah, like owners are just too busy though. I don't know what they're doing. They could just be working on it really hard and who knows. But it seems like they're just too friendly in some ways. Like the fact that owners actually would get kind of upset when people would say stuff like contract jail would amaze me. Like you're an owner, like just eat it and move on. Your whole business is supposed to be about making money. That's it. And your job is just to make money and try to win and grow your brand. I don't know why they're so worried about how happy they make people. I get you have to keep fans happy, but you don't really. If you're winning, people just come along.
Yes and no. I got into this debate with somebody on Twitter whenever I released that whole like starting a League of Legends team video. Uh, Somebody came at me. I realized later without watching the video because he clearly like missed exactly what I was gonna do. But he's like, when it like if you're not gonna win, you literally can't have a team. And I was like,
Oh
no, that's
no.
just blatantly wrong. But I'm not gonna sit here and try and tell you how slash why.
Yeah.
So
You're not gonna win every time.
no,
It's just that the time you do start winning is when you really got to capitalize and you got to
yep,
make your money and you have to make sure your processes are in place to capitalize on that. And that's what I more meant by people will come around. Like, yeah, you could eat
yeah,
3 years of hate. TSM is probably going to eat like the next, if you count the last 3 years,
6 years.
probably 8 to 10 years of hate straight, just hate. But if they win one time, everyone's gonna be like, well, it was worth it, I guess, and just move on quietly. Like, that's how it works. Like, that's that's what happens. Now, granted, you don't. I'm not saying you have to support very evil things. Like, there are vile things people do, and like a Sterling, right, from the Clippers, evil man had to go. That's not what I'm saying. You just gotta eat the hate of like people want to win. It's a winning business, and if you're not winning, at least entertain them. Like, do
Yep.
what you gotta do, and move on. But right now, most league teams don't really know how to entertain. NRG is probably going to be the best one for league viewership. Like, not
I'm
on stream, but on YouTube.
so I'm curious because a bunch of people, or 2 or 3 different people at NRG just left, like higher up people, in the last week. Their head of social media
Oh dear.
and Grady Rains left as well. But they left for good reason. They're starting their own business. Basically,
Oh,
they're
okay.
starting like an agency in a way. So like, it makes sense as to why they're leaving. And I am still a believer that NRG has the board, like the basics down to be able to do this well. But like Khan said in chat, people need to finally come to terms with the fact that all of the shit has to become worth it for all the parties involved. And that's where we touched on like the player aspect, but fans really need to get a grip on that as well. I'm not saying that people need to start paying to watch the LCS. I don't think that's coming, despite whether that would be beneficial technically or not. Like, that could be debated until the end of time. But like,
It would be.
the the people that are just so altruistic on competition are about to come to terms with the fact that you need to be able to make this work without ever winning a game at Worlds. Have to find a way to do it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're not going to survive.
And unfortunately, there are no more, like, well, literally, yeah, it's gonna end. There's no more opportunities to just send TSM as a sacrifice,
Yep.
and then other NA teams shoulder the burden. Now they have all the pressure. They have every ounce of pressure, and so far, since other NA teams have been going, they have not been eating the pressure the best. That's
Nope.
life. Not saying that in a bad way, and not even trash talking, because I know where we're at right now, and we're at home. But they have not been eating it well, and I would also say their coming back home has not been eaten very well. Like, I think TSM, for all their faults, were very good at still keeping their fans, like, or maybe their fans were just diehards, I don't know, but they were very good at keeping their fans like still bought into the idea next time.
Fans are diehards.
Yeah, it's
I
probably a
just
little
sold on
mix of
that.
both. And they were really good at the, like, but they were just really good at like being like making post worlds videos, showing the whole process, showing the collapse, and doing all that, and getting you to care again for next year. I think current teams kind of let the players get ahead of the org, which
Yep.
TSM was good about not doing, and they don't have players like one thing TSM didn't do a lot of, but I hear a lot of now. Maybe we did, and I just didn't notice it. There wasn't a lot of like TSM being like, "Oh, we're the only chance. Like, you should watch us because everyone else is cheeks, and we
Yeah.
cooked them." Like, that's a big thing now, which is kind of wild to me because
Oh, it makes my blood fucking boil.
well, it's risky because you're devaluing the other brands around you,
Yep.
which really devalues your brand. Like, it doesn't help you a lot. Like,
Nope.
now I get it's to build up hype. Do I think it's the best way to build up hype? Not really, because you want people to be watching the LCS people go, but that's life. So, I guess tying it all back to the beginning, LCS players need to stick together a little better.
You know what I want to see Fudge say? I want to see Fudge come out and just do like an honest piece with Riot and Cloud9, and basically just look and be like, to all the fans, I'm not gonna sit here and say fuck you to your face, but I'm gonna say this. regardless of whether I perform on the international stage or not, and Korean and Chinese players are better than me, none of your players here in North America are better than me. So you can make fun of me all you want. Just know for every bit that you're making fun of me, you're making fun of your own team twice as much because you're saying that they're twice as bad as I am. So
Yeah.
screw you. I'm going to continue to dominate this league, regardless of what happens on the international stage. And hopefully someday we perform. But you know what? Until that point comes, somebody better step the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking lonely at the top. I wish he would say, and not just say like, because Fudge is normal shit. Like, oh, everybody's bad. Like he just he goes that route. But like, no, like open up and actually be honest with people, and just be like, you can sit here and fucking mock me for my international stage. At least I'm getting there. Where's every other player in North America right now?
Yep. Back
Oh
home.
wait, they're not here. So you can either stand with me and hope that I perform and hope that we perform, or you can shut the fuck up and go home with your team. That's like, that right there is a message of screw you but unity, rather than just simply screw you.
Yeah. Telling people to step up. That's like better. Way better. I agree, because it like builds the competition and the hype here. Like right now, I don't really know what you do as an NA fan, like watching other regions. I know what I'm gonna be doing in the future. Like I'm good. But a lot of NA fans like are kind of in the boat of they just watch T1, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I just enjoy watching T1 lose, if I'm being honest.
well, yeah, you do,
I
'cause
love
you're a hater.
I love watching them win domestically. It's so much fun to watch, and then knowing that the moment they step foot on the international stage, they're gonna choke. It's great. I love being validated and calling T1 chokers very early on and spotting out the pattern of that, and people not believe me. Oh, they're gonna be better when they get back to this. Look where they are. They got 06th. The second it started to actually matter, the second the pressure got put on them, they dropped the ball so damn hard.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's one thing I
do.
That's one thing I don't or I would never shit talk North America for. We never drop the ball like that. Because there's never any expectation. Which is great. You can't say that we mentally collapsed because we were never mentally there in the first place.
Yeah. I guess that's fair.
It's great.
Yeah.
I can sit here and mock T1
all we got.
all day. Because, you know what they would say? Oh, you'd lose just as bad. Well, you know what? We don't get there. So, not my problem. Not my issue.
It's so bad. The only thing we can mock them on is, like, their lows are our highs. That's the problem.
Let's turn this North American hate on ourselves to other people. That'd be better. To all the European fans that are like, oh, North America sucks. Bitch, you're in the gutter with us.
Yeah.
How many series did you win?
We've been close at MSI. If one of those series goes the other way, we are golden.
Their lows are better than our highs? Have we been watching the same two international tournaments?
Who's Europe's?
Yeah. We were on
I didn't mean Europe.
No, I'm addressing Khan in chat. He said their lows are better than our highs. Bullshit. The last two international events, last three international events have been the exact same. The exact same. Oh, sure, they might win more. Oh, he means T1's lows? Oh, yeah, sure, T1, yeah. But I'm talking about Europe. Europe? I started going on a World Song binge 2 days ago. I'm ready. You have no idea. I'm ready for Worlds.
Bro, it's gonna be a good one. I told you I've been watching LPL, and they're playing some I don't know. They're not really playing anything that interesting, but they're just playing quick again, and it's looking good.
And before
But
Khan
man,
says
there are some
anything,
bad LTO players.
oh yeah. Before Khan
So
says
many.
anything, because I know he's one of those people that's like really big, and I am too, on like valuing domestic play before we like rush into the whole world shit. Well, you know what? We have to have international games that are actually able to be played for me to give a shit about the LCS during summer before I start thinking about worlds. Because the only thing I have right now going for me is getting to worlds and getting to that fourth place matchup between EU and NA. I cannot wait.
I mean, our fourth versus their fourth might be a tough one now.
Why?
Because usually we have our third play their fourth. I feel like there's a big difference between a fourth seed and a third seed.
I don't, with the current state of LCS teams, I don't believe so.
Really?
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think the last few years, our third and fourth place teams have always been like right around each other, give or take. And I think the same
Hopefully we
does
can beat
apply
them.
for EU as well, to be clear.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be tough, cause like, it just sucks how bad we get dumpstered, though, later. But I know that I'm not supposed to talk about that. We're supposed to build hype for our own stuff. But it's like, I just wish our teams could find a way to cook a little bit. But I think that's what's gonna come with, maybe with new blood, new owners. Our current ones are not, or our current teams are not going to get it done.
No. You need everybody in the league to be able to push each other to get to
Yeah.
that level. I think you need to get Dignitas out. You need to get Immortals out. You need TSM out, obviously. There's no way that roster should be the one starting for TS.
I have nothing on why TSM has that roster. I mean, other than the fact that we're going to LPL.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of like it now, though, because if anybody puts any joke about TSM, I can just respond in Chinese. I just go on Google Translate and put in my response. And then send it.
I'm looking at the players for. Wait, they. Wow, they don't have any of the rosters updated on the
LoL
page.
Esports, really?
No, on LOL Fandom.
Oh. So
I would.
for LCS start? Because when's it start now? What's the new start date?
Next Thursday.
Okay. So for that start, so we gotta skip this week too.
Yeah, dude, it feels
Bro, they
so
gotta
bad.
fix this.
Dude, I know it's so bad.
They gotta fix this. This is bad. I'm like,
it is agonizing.
yeah, this is really bad. That's pretty long.
And I'll be the first to admit here, I'm heavily biased because I have a content piece that's waiting to come out for whenever this damn split is finally announced. That I can't even talk about yet. I'm just waiting. I'm with Charlie. I 100% think news is gonna come on Friday, and they'll announce that hey, we're officially back. Uh, I don't know if they reveal the terms of who's with it, like, or who gave what in terms of concessions. I don't know if they'll reveal that right away, but I desperately, I need this back so bad.
Well, our fan base really isn't big enough for this, but maybe it sparks something that gets more people to watch. Who
No,
knows? But it's just not it's not good because every league is gonna be getting going. And then we're just gonna be sitting here still fighting.
that 2 week advantage was gonna be so big, and the fact that no, like, here's my thing: you have 2 weeks where nobody's like where nobody's doing anything. Have you heard like anything major coming from like player stream stuff like that?
No. Are
Like that?
players even streaming
Yeah,
that
I've
much?
seen 100 Thieves players I know have been streaming. Bucio's been streaming
Okay.
pretty consistently. Double Lift is, but like, aren't we? Don't you think we're beyond the point where just streaming is enough to like promote yourself?
Yeah.
Unless you're like Double Lift, obviously, but you're at that point your reputation's already there. But like, I don't know. If you want to grow this shit, I can't imagine just like, hey, I'm streaming on Twitch and playing solo queue like every other pro has for like 9, 10 years. That's not going to be enough anymore. I don't think.
No, because it's not even a big thing. Like streaming League now.
No.
It's kind of going down the drain. But
The
man,
thing.
I don't know what you do
Here's what you
because
do.
they can't do in-houses.
No, here's what you do. You do an LCS player podcast where all of the you just have an I pitched this in my interviews during spring and nothing really came of it, but you just have an open call for 1 hour a week where it's streamed and players just can hop in and talk about whatever they want. You have like one player, say like I think Double Lift's a little bit too. I don't know if he's too established at this point, but I don't know. Pick somebody like, or even if it's a retired pro, I don't know. Pick somebody, and then just any LCS player can hop in and like chat shit for an hour. It can be about completely random shit,
Yeah.
but just it will give some personality to these players in a way that currently only Dom and LS and like the co-streams do. That's the only way you find out about these players' personalities at the moment.
Yeah.
So take power into your own hands for once.
Can players co-stream like other leagues?
Not LEC, and then I think they have to get permission for the others, and I don't think they'll get it.
Dang. That would be a cool way to do it.
I mean, it could be, but even then, you're just doing nothing but like promoting the other leagues at that point. Like, I just want them to do
Yeah.
something for just
Yeah.
themselves. Like, that's the one
Very
thing
true.
that like the Call of Duty community does so well. There's so much content coming from the COD community at all times that actually connects with fans.
Yeah. That's just like that's a big thing though that LCS has fallen off of for a long time. Like good content players. Cause originally, like that's what made LCS so interesting was C9 and TSM were pretty content machine style teams.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of people to buy in. But now there's just none of those gaming house shenanigans. Players are always practicing type deal.
For
I don't know
and for
how
what?
I don't know how Asian players though, they stream a lot.
But streaming culture is also still fairly big over there, I'd say. Like them streaming is enough, whereas here it's not. And I know what people
Well,
want
here
to.
you probably could.
I don't think you can because people like.
Really?
I don't think that's enough. No,
Tyler One still pulls it off.
Tyler won, yeah, but I'm saying pro players. Pro players
Yeah, I
with
just
no
mean
pro players with no name that are trying to build a brand,
uh
which is like 90% of the league at this point.
yeah.
Like, what do you do?
Yet yeah. Well, the league is kinda dead on its own, so not like in a bad way. Like the league just doesn't get people to watch like certain streamers and stuff. And I don't really know. Like your podcast idea is not bad. I think it's pretty good. That seems like one you could do it as a just chatting. Do it just chatting like uh the offline TV people thing.
Yeah.
Like do it like that. Not like a fluff piece. Just let them go do something.
Yeah.
You don't need like a production company or whatever. Just go do something and hang out and do something weird.
It's just
But-
like, have you like? I know you probably don't watch it, but like the amount of content that's come out of the COD scene leading up the champs has just been absurd.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like it's good, it's entertaining, it's fun, like it helps you drive the story. There's a lot of debate and discussion around points that, ultimately aren't gonna matter, but it's talk for the sake of talking.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's like,
it's good. It's just like, I don't know. LCS is at such a weird spot right now, and they're not even playing. So I think what is really annoying is that the LCS isn't playing, and there hasn't been anything that's caught my eye,
yeah,
like
they've
as a
done nothing
content
to
thing from a
to
player's side.
yeah, they've done nothing to like help attention in on their side.
Yeah.
Like that's what I don't get. Is like, sure, people made the argument of, oh, the player's labor is like the most important thing that they can withhold here. Sure, if they're also doing other shit and like
Yeah.
show it, you have, like, if your labor is the important part and you are the reason why the LCS is thriving, then you should be flexing that as much as possible right now. But you're not. I get, as we mentioned earlier, I get not talking about the issue ongoing. That's fine. Like, I'm not
Hmm.
expecting you to come out and be like, yeah, Riot's a piece of shit. This. But, like, you do need to do something to get players with you or get fans with you passively and just show that you hold the power. But they're not. The only person doing anything right now, for better or for worse, and granted he's being ridiculed for it, is Double Lift.
Yeah. He's just doing like a goober. He just had a goober approach,
Yeah.
was all. Like he kind of shot himself in the foot. But if players would just go and do something to get you interested, it'd be good. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even have an idea what they do because what works for everybody else just doesn't work for our players, it seems. Like,
If I'm Vulcan, I don't know why has Vulcan streamed at all
I don't know. I don't
since
follow
everything
Vulcan
took
that
off.
close.
But Jesus, Opera X loading up. Uh, let me find out. Vulcan, LOL. Let's see. He streamed 3 days ago for 3 minutes 20 seconds. Really not much. It doesn't look like. Well, maybe he has streamed, but I don't know. There's really not all that much going on here, but it's just like their clip should be top of Reddit, should be constantly pushed by people as they like. It feels like there's nothing. I don't want to beat a dead horse on this topic.
Right now, it's mainly Spanish streamers. If you go on browsing for League of Legends, mainly Spanish streamers with, I think, one of the top, like, I would call pro prospects, per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you have Tyler One, Paul Belter. Like, that makes sense. Quantum, I've never heard of him, though. I feel that's my bad, I guess. But is Griffin, like,
Yeah, 16-year-old Griffin.
if he
Well,
goes pro?
he's also going to Korea right now with T1, isn't he? Or with
I'm not
LS.
sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I'm
sure
not sure.
pretty
He
sure
is?
he's in Korea at the moment. Or
It's
like
his
literally
thing
going
says
there shortly.
rank 1, 1876 LPNA.
Oh, then he's still here, but he's
He
going there
might be
soon.
leaving soon though.
Yeah.
Which is like, what are we? What are we doing, man? Why is? I mean, they're the future, so it makes sense that Griffin and Sniper would be popular. But now, basically, the whole league rides on Griffin and Sniper.
Yep.
If we're being honest, which isn't a bad thing. Sometimes you need generational goats to pop off,
Which
because
you do.
Griffin might be a dog.
Yeah.
What did
Because
you
that.
say though?
Well, no, I was gonna say that's exactly what happened with Call of Duty. Like Scump retired, and like he's your goat of all goats. Like the day he retired was the day that like people were like really worried of like what's gonna happen, who's gonna step up whenever Scump retires, and lo and behold, it's Shotzi. Like this kid is cracked and just insane at everything that he does. Like I think somebody told me that he'll scrim for 6 hours a day. He's prepping for a marathon, streams, and puts out YouTube content.
Jeez.
All at the same time.
Because he's a grinder.
And he's one of the best players in the league. Where's that?
We don't have a lot of those, though.
But that's my point.
Because most league players just say they want to just play the game.
You can't do that. It is not enough to just play the game.
I mean, no. What's his name? Shotsky?
Shotzi.
Shotzi?
Yeah, how many Twitter followers does he have now? It's a great question. SHOTZZY. 200K Twitter followers. Basically.
228K subs.
228.
But he pulls 150 average a video.
150K average a video?
Like views.
Oh,
but he has 250,000 subs or 228,000 subs, so he gets really good numbers, like for his sub count.
Hold up.
I mean, 100K views a video is like.
Oh, I thought you meant like 125. That's good. He's converting on.
Yeah,
all of
he's
them.
converting a lot.
Holy shit.
That's enough to just do YouTube as your job.
Yeah.
For
and
most
he's
people.
Doing pro play on top of that, and training for a marathon, and streaming.
Like, I will say, the one thing that sucks for NA League of Legends, I think genuinely our savior was Danny.
I'm not sold on that.
Like,
I think we would have ran
probably
into
JoJo.
I think we would have ran into problems with both of them. JoJo, no. JoJo's not our savior.
Well, I felt like he was for a little bit. He was getting people interested again.
Sure, but he never streams. He does not do the, like...
Fair.
He doesn't do the extra stuff. Like, Shotzi is now going to be my go-to example. Of, like... Did you ever watch Scump's retirement speech, by the way?
No.
We'll watch it on stream here in a second, collectively, because I think everybody should hear this. Because Scump gives like the best send-off message possible to his teammates of like getting people to understand that like I'm passing the torch, and you're not gonna fuck up this opportunity that I'm giving you.
Yeah.
And it's great. Is there anything else you want to talk about before I show this? So
I was just gonna say the reason I'm super like interested in how General Sniper and Griffin go in pro is because they've been doing school. Sniper was doing school, Challenger Series, and streaming all at the same time.
Yeah.
Which shows he's a grind mindset. Griffin is grinding rank 1 on stream and going to school. Like, there are at least 2 kids who I think, if they're not... I want to say they, like, almost gotta not talk to too many players. If they keep their work ethic... and they don't talk to too many people who try to tell them to just chill, and they keep striving for the best, they're the future. Like, there's no doubt about it. They're the future.
Yep. They absolutely could be.
But they have to keep that mindset, and they have to be giga grinders.
Yep.
And Nadeshot might be one of the best bosses for them to have to do that.
Oh my god, yeah. Because Nadeshot's been there. He's done that. He's done exactly what they need to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because everyone's hating this. Like, now everyone's on this boat again. Like, that players need to be doing this. But this is exactly what Bjerg put in his contract with TSM he would not do.
Yeah.
Back when TSM was at its peak, like, well, I guess it was a peak. It was, yeah, 2016-17. Like, our Sven Skaren would tweet once a month, and it would be like the wildest tweet, and easily pull like 8K likes, 10K likes, because he would tweet something really dumb because it was in his contract he had to, and he
Yeah.
hated it, and talked about how much he hated it. But I don't think players realize that, like, that's important to have in your contract.
Yep.
And it's not a bad thing for you to have to do type thing.
Yeah.
It's like, if anything, it was Reggie pushing the players hard to do that. Now, hopefully, with Nade Shot, we can get that same kind of drive, push, and all that, but without all of the illegal overworking on
Yeah.
contractors stuff. If we can
Look,
get him to push the players, not push the random contractor in the Blitz warehouse that is under the lights in the sweatshop essentially at this point, like just grinding away to make sure the Blitz app works,
yep.
then Nate Shot will be fine. Which for him, it's going to be making sure that his bottlers, whoever's making his drink, he's not down in the warehouse going 40 hours. I need 40 hours out of you in
Yep.
2 days to get these bottles done. If he doesn't do that, we should be good.
Yeah.
And it would work really well.
I want to close on this, a note that I'm really sad about. I got an email today at 4:00 from a gaming brand. I don't want to reveal any information because obviously their campaign is like on or is being set up. They emailed me and were like, "Hey, we'll give you a monthly salary of anywhere between $500 to $1,000 and send you a computer. You just have to put out 2 videos a month talking about our product and, you know, basically like a partner video, and I would have different unique concepts for what I want to do within each video. And the contract would last through January, from July through January, and I was hyped. But there was one thing in the pitch that got me a little scared. They said, we are looking for college content creators. So I followed up in an email and said, hey, noticed in your email to me, you said about college content creators. I would still love to do this, but I don't want to lie to you and say that I'm one of them. I am a working professional. Let me know. They got back to me and said, unfortunately, this is just for college content creators.
Dang.
We'll hopefully have other, opportunities come up. But like, I was giddy when I saw that because it was like, that was like my, oh my God, I'm somewhat making it moment.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been needing a new like a laptop that I can just use for like editing YouTube videos on the go, and like it would have been so great, and it didn't work out, and I'm really sad about it. Like really, really sad about it. I'll tell you the brand afterwards, but
Smooge.
very smooch. Anyways,
Smash.
I want to show you Scump's retirement speech, which I think should be studied by every gamer everywhere. Hold up, let me make Discord video. Should be studied by everywhere, or everybody everywhere, as like the golden standard of passing the torch in esports.
Let's get it, Gabe. You came. I can't believe you fucking came. Formal's here too.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yes. I forgot I had that stream.
That right there was Shotzi, by the way.
Yeah, this house is alright. Yeah,
Him right there, yeah.
it's cool, I guess. It's cool.
Could everybody please come over? It's time. I'm nervous. Everyone, come around the island if you could. Just wherever.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
That's what I started with.
It's a good intro.
All right, first off, yes, thank y'all for coming. It's a very big day in my career. All I've known for the last 14 years of my life, some of you may know this, my competitors, my fellow competitors, it's all I've known, it's all we've known for a very long time. Coming into the year, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, we were running it back with the team. Honestly, high expectations, people expected a lot out of us. Things fell short. It happens, that's part of competing. Been on Optic for a majority of that time, and I've had the support of all of you in this house today. I couldn't thank y'all enough. I mean, looking around, it's really hard for me, just because I have had a crazy amount of support throughout my whole career, not only by fans, but by everyone here, so thank you. To all my old teammates, thank you. You guys really have molded me into the person that I am today, and it means a lot. I mean, I've learned so much through the bad decisions, the good decisions. It really has taught me a lot in my life. And this is just the booze while I'm crying. This organization has always been like family to me. I mean, Hector has cultivated that since day one, and I appreciate that. I've known a lot of y'all for a very long time. I mean, Ray winged me from the start, literally made my career what it is. And I've continued to grow stronger and stronger along the way with the bumps, with everything again, good decisions, bad decisions, it's all added up to now. I've obviously never found myself in a situation like this. I'm a little nervous and apprehensive for the future, but I'm also excited on top of that. Content's always been something that I've wanted to do personally. With the CDL and how high things are nowadays, like, it's hard nowadays to do content. Content on top of competing is really hard just because of how high the competition is. It's just hard, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, but thankfully with the great team that I had, Ant being there, and the addition of Brandon back, I hope people are happy with the new roster at the very least. I think you guys are going to be absolutely disgusting. And after seeing Kyler and you as a sub duo with the pacing, it was kind of an easy decision. Like, I'm not like that. Like, I'm not fast like that anymore. Like, these guys, they're different, and it's a hard decision. But bringing Brandon back made sense. Life's too short to hold grudges or be mad at each other, and I hope he uses this opportunity to be a good teammate. And Brandon, I'm gonna be on your ass. Please use this opportunity well, because again, I'm falling down so you can go up, and I hope that you use this right. To Ray, Ender, Kyler, Ant, obviously, JP, all my past coaches, everybody. I'm going to be supporting you guys till the end. You guys know that. I'm going to be rooting for y'all. That's easy. You guys are like family to me again, so I hope you guys I hope you guys fry. I really do. For the supporters that may be mad or upset at me and my decision, I'm sorry, but I promise I'll make it up. I'll be attending events still and meeting people, which I really couldn't do being a player because obviously COVID. So now I'm going to be obviously meeting people, and we have other things in the works. Coming into the year, I was already on the fence about giving it another go, and I really thought that I could do it, but I overestimated my energy, and that happens, and I hope that y'all can forgive me, but again, I hope y'all fry. The support I've been given with so many decisions in my career is astonishing, and I hope this is no different. Thank you guys for the years of memory, the good and the bad, and here's to another chapter of my life. Greenwall for life, brick by brick, family.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Congratulations, man.
Cheers, brother. Cheers. Thank
Incredible career.
you. Ooh, I didn't think I was...
Not a sad night. Turn that music on. Let's do this.
I would say that gives. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it was really nice. It was a good way to. Who's the Brandon guy? Is he
Brandon-
like some guy?
He's one of the guys that basically they originally dropped him from the team to make like a roster change, but when Scump decided to retire, they brought him back and basically like told him both in terms of like content and playing, like I mean, you heard the line, "I'm falling down so you can come up."
Yeah.
And like it really put pressure on to do it. Now, unironically, I think is he still on the team right now? Yeah, he's still on the team. So it's currently Dashy, Hugh, Illy, or Dashy, Hugh, Shotzi, and Ghosty.
It was still really good way to do it, I think. Like,
Yeah.
he promoted the guys coming in while giving himself his props, and it was a good way to leave.
And like, we don't have like you don't. I don't feel like you see that in League of Legends right now, where like, by all means, Bjergsen deserves his well deserved retirement, but like, I don't know. I don't get that level of connection yet with any of the players or teams fully in the LCS. Like nobody has made it like, I don't know, feel like it's family and just feel like there will be a legacy going on. Like even you look at players like Sneaky, Meteos, Bjergsen, like I don't know, like it feels like their retirement is like solely focused on them and like their decision or happiness, which is fine. But like it doesn't address the like next generation coming in, or like I don't know, it doesn't hit me the same as this did. I don't know whether it's because I'm personally connected or if that actually is just like the emotion that comes across.
I think in the ones I remember in League that were good retirements, like was when Odd One retired. It was nice. He talked about the guy coming in. It was a nice retirement. When Reggie retired, it was sentimental. Like Dyrus's was sentimental. Highs was somewhat, and Eliminations were. But in League, like a lot of them end up going to like, they ended up just going to lower League and smurfing. And in League, a lot of times guys are replaced before they're retired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, they don't really retire because the movement is so quick and the replacements are so fast. And when the Odd One hung him up, it was like maybe he still had some in the tank, but he was also just done. Dominate, he had a good retirement. I'd say Cutie did, but there are a lot of guys, like you said, who didn't really retire. They just
Every
got
example
replaced.
you gave was pre-2016.
Yeah.
So in the, like we've had players come and go in the last 7 years.
Yeah, but all of them have just gotten replaced through roster swaps, I feel like.
Yeah, like.
And most of them, I will also add, by imports.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be a little saltier when you get replaced by an import than if you got replaced. Like, you might talk up the kid who's a prodigy, right? Because he's a prodigy and he's doing something crazy. So on your way out the door, you might go, hey, this guy is like going to get you guys in the right hands. But you're not going to do that if the guy doesn't even understand the speech you're giving because he doesn't know the language.
Yeah.
And he's just here to replace you. Like, there's no sentimental value.
How do you think we go about fixing that?
In League?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a fixable problem. There's too high turnover. I mean, that guy was a GOAT. So, like, Bjerg had a video, but Bjerg's video wasn't like that. But
No,
Bjerg's also kind of not stained, but made his legacy a little weird.
I mean, Double is going to be the same way, though, when he, like, officially retires. Like, it's not going to mean as much as well.
I mean, that's what happens when you have journeymen as your GOATs.
True.
Although Double F's journeyman stuff worked. Bjerg's was a little awkward.
True. Especially if Double F does well in the summer split, yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about that next week, assuming the LCS is back on. But, I don't know. I think that's ultimately where we touched on it before. Getting true fans of the orcs to buy in.
Yeah,
I think they can fill that void. I don't think players
'cause
can anymore.
it's, and that's like the big point we've been talking about most of the podcasts, because it is very clear from the responses you got from being quote tweeted that buy an org guide, which is cool, but also very clear that they will not be selling rights or they don't like the idea. So monetization, it seems like, is going to come down to them.
Yeah, and how well you can like market your own individual shit.
Yep.
Which, to be clear, 100 Thieves is positioned better than most because they have a lot of products
True.
that they can push to more eyes. Juvie and High
Yes.
Ground only benefit from more people seeing it versus a media rights deal. But
Which might be why he doesn't like it. Maybe he is being business savvy, but at the same time, he's just a content creator org anyways.
yeah,
That's mainly what 100 Thieves is known for. I know they compete in other games really well.
that's why I
And
think
in League.
like for them and for Optic, whenever they push back against it, it's like, I know why you do it because you are the ones that benefit from being in front of more people.
Yep.
It's the bottom tier orgs that don't stand a chance. That you can argue whether that's technically a good thing then that you're taking the media rights deal if it's to fund those that aren't pulling their weight.
I think it's huge.
But I don't know.
It's how all sports leagues survive.
Yeah,
if
because
your bottom
you
tier
have to make
teams-
sure your bottom
Yeah.
teams are still secure and safe.
If your bottom teams can't put it together and get a growing fan base to keep fighting, then your league is going to be terrible because people are going to get tired of watching the same people win all the time.
Yeah.
That's why when TSM started to lose, I wasn't that mad because I know everyone's time has to come. And our time came. Like, that's
Yeah.
okay. Nobody would want to watch the league if we were winning every year. And it wouldn't feel that good. Like, you know how much better I felt in 2020 than like I felt way better when we won 2020 than I did when we won 2017 summer.
Yeah.
Because 2017 summer was a formality. 2020 was trying to get it back. That feels way better. And you don't have that without every team being competitive in some respect.
Yep.
I mean, to remind people, our undefeated split was stopped only by Phoenix Gaming. Phoenix won, a team that is not even in the league anymore.
Actually, they technically are in FlyQuest.
Oh, did they sell to them or something?
Yeah, I think they rebranded to FlyQuest.
Oh, okay. When they sold to Milwaukee.
Yep.
But that's what I mean, a name you can't even find.
Yeah.
And if you rebrand, you lose a lot of fans. So
Yep. Bucio's now streaming with 242 people watching.
Griffin has 1.6.
Really? 1.6?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, him and Sniper,
People
They
prefer
can save
top
the
lane.
league.
Who would have known?
they can save the league. No, they prefer jungle. Griffin's a jungler.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he's a
Ah.
dog.
North American junglers. Jesus, first Blaver, now him. Interesting. But all right, I'm gonna end stream. To the 3 people that stuck around to all of our rambling at the end, thank you. Hopefully next week we actually have some LCS shit to talk about. We'll see.
Yeah.
But if not, I think the LEC. When does the LEC return?
Hmm.
We have no clue.
I have no idea.
Oh, the following week. Damn. So, yeah, we're gonna have nothing but just headlines to talk about next week. Sucks, but it is
China.
what it is. Yeah,
I talk about Chinese League all day, but I know nobody cares.
maybe we'll talk about it next week. Who knows? Anyways, everybody, catch you on the next episode. Adios.
Adios.